That women belong at home and not in the workplace.
Men think that women belong in the kitchen making sandwiches.
That they can't do something as good as a guy can.
But I guess some people might think that men might think it's stereotypical to look at women like as objects. That's how they're portrayed very often, especially in the media. I'm not saying that all men think like that, but it's a terrible stereotype, I would say, in the media specifically.
Probably, inferiority, I guess you could say, just based on the fact that, I'm pretty sure you still get paid. I think the ratio is 70% of the wages, which isn't fair at all. So.
In the world.
I think there would be less fighting within households and in the workforce.
More peace in the world.
Because I feel like if there was more equality and women saw that they actually had the respect, that they wouldn't feel disrespected or neglected by men's views. They would actually feel like they have a voice in today's society.
Well, with any equality, there would be more peace. In the case of gender, I mean, it's basically a difference that either way could be simplified and balanced out. And if everyone was equal, there wouldn't be as much conflict as there is today.
Women wouldn't have to deal with being put down and beat and stuff like that by men if they both were knowledgeable and willing for equality.
I think you would have to educate the men to let them be educated, because sometimes they get beaten if they try and be educated. So if they were able to get to other countries that allow them to, then they would be able to empower women in their own country.
I think by being educated, you're more prone to being able to be successful. So by going out and helping other women who might not have the chance to have that kind of education that men do would help them be more successful.
Well, I mean, you see how life is in the United States with women having more rights and more education. They feel a part of the community, whereas in other countries they don't have that education, so they can't succeed in their communities because they don't have a voice in their communities.
Well, as far as developing countries on top of it, educating women would cause them to almost, I feel like, break the glass ceiling kind of deal, because I still feel like that's implemented today.
I'm not really that educated on women's rights, I'll be honest with you.
Well, we could definitely go from the beginning, try and look throughout history, see what's been done, and try and build off those.
Women's rights.
So, improving women's rights, I personally believe that if you have really good education, a lot of good analytical style education where people are able to express themselves and not just read something and kind of absorb it, where they actually interact and become more confident in education, and they become more confident in themselves to speak and to voice their rights like they do in many Western countries.
Just by educating everyone in general, even in the United States, which is pretty equal, women are still put into bad situations, so we need to educate them. We need to let people know, definitely in other countries, that there's other ways to live. They don't have to be stuck in a bad situation.
In the community, I guess exposing them more in politics. I mean, we still haven't had a woman president, so I think having them higher up in politics, that they would have more say in our government and how our country is run.
How couldn't it create peace? Okay, let's start there.
Well, they're educated and they know their rights, so they know what their voice is, and they know that they can be involved in politics, and being involved in it, they have a stronger head on their shoulders. And I feel like having a woman's moral background and her calm attitude will help with the men who are quick to make rash decisions and react to violence in a more aggressive way than a woman might. So that might bring more peace.
Educating everybody would cause peace. Some cultures are less educated than we are today, and if that balanced out, it's maybe cliche, but knowledge is power at the end of the day. if everyone's educated and everyone's equal,